Hello everyone. So welcome to the first official episode of Cooking with Fluffy. On this episode, I'm going to be making a soup that is like a staple in Jamaica. Like if you have never had this soup, I don't know what to say. Your childhood sucks. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'm gonna be making goat soup today, aka goat head soup, BKA manishwata. But I won't be using the actual goat head. I'll just be using goat chunks. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to make goat soup. With all my meats, the first thing I do is I soak them. Basically what this helps does is to kill the rawness that meat can have while cooking it, so that you just get the natural flavor of the actual seasonings that you put on there and not whatever rawness is in the meat. So every time I soak my meat, I always put it in a mixture of water, sea salt, vinegar, and lime. I'm old school, so I like to use fresh limes, but lime juice is fine, lemon juice is fine. So either one of those two will do as a substitute. And I have let this sit here for about a good 20 minutes. And then basically what I will do is wash it off and season the meat. Now that my meat has been washed off, I am going to show you guys the seasonings I'll be using specifically for the meat. So here you have parsley, onion powder, meat tenderizer, crushed red peppers, garlic powder, a little black pepper, some scotch bonnet, sauce, and then thyme. You don't have to use these seasonings, but these are, what were in my cupboard, and it's just easy to use whatever you have. You don't have to go out of your way. So these are gonna go on the actual meat. Now, just as a disclaimer, I will tell you I do not measure my seasonings, nor do I really cook with salt, for two things. One, I try to watch my salt intake because of the fact that high blood pressure runs in my family. So I try my best not to and cook with a lot of salt. And number two, as far as why I don't measure my seasonings, everyone's taste buds and palates work a little differently. So I always try to add a little seasoning, and as I'm cooking, add or take away as I go along. That way it is to my satisfaction. So these are what's going on the actual meat. And then we'll start the cooking. Okay guys, so I have seasoned my meat. I've let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. Ideally when I season meat, I like to do it like the night before so that it can marinate overnight in the fridge, but because we don't have time for that today, I just let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. Now normally what I would do is I would take the meat and just put it straight into a pot and boil it with water. However, because as I stated earlier, we're on a time constraint, I am actually going to be using my handy dandy pressure cooker that I have here. A girlfriend of mine was so sweet to buy me one for my birthday. So pressure cooking is not something you have to do, but it's convenient in times like this. Mine specifically comes with a timer here. So I'm gonna set it for about 30 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is put the meat in here, add some water, maybe to about the maximum line, and then just let it go for about 30 minutes. So as I was stating, I'm gonna be putting my pressure cooker on about 30 minutes. So I'll hit pressure cook, and then it automatically defaults to 30. You guys probably can't see that, but it's there. And then it will automatically just start on its own. So that beeping means that it has officially started and that it is now on. So I'll be back in 30 minutes. Okay guys, so 30 minutes later, this is what we have. So it smells amazing, by the way. Oh my God. So I'm gonna now take this and transfer it into a regular pot so that we can continue the cook. So now I have it in just a regular pot that is big enough to hold my soup. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let it continue to cook. And in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut up all of the vegetables that I will be putting in this soup. Okay, so what I'm gonna be putting in the soup today is yam, carrot, pumpkin, scotch bonnet pepper, scallion, and garlic. I'm also going to be adding potatoes and dumpling towards the end. Now you don't have to use these particular items. This is just what was in my fridge and what I like in my soup. You can add and take away as you like and make it to your liking. These items you can just get at your local Caribbean market. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be chopping up to put in this. Okay, guys, so I've minced up my garlic and I've chopped up my scallion, or what's also called green onions. If you guys don't know by the term scallion, they're also called green onions. So I've chopped those up, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and throw those in the pot now. With the pumpkin, I am gonna use a piece of it now to go in the pot, and then I'm gonna use the other half of it later on, and then the scotch bonnet will go in later as well. Okay guys, so after adding the scallion and the pumpkin and garlic, this is pretty much what you'll have. I did go ahead and add some more water to it because it was starting to reduce, and we don't want that, obviously, because we're making a soup, so the more water the better. I am going to go ahead and allow that to just cook on its own for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll be checking on the meat to make sure that it is soft enough, and once I can determine that yes, it is soft enough, at that point we can add everything else. Okay, so after a couple of minutes I checked it and the meat was nice and soft, so I decided to go ahead and add the carrots, the rest of the pumpkin, along with the yam. Instead of adding potatoes, I decided to add corn instead. I found a few pieces of just frozen corn on the cob in the freezer, so I just decided to throw those in. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this down to like a medium heat, just to let it go ahead and simmer down and get the rest of the vegetables cooking. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the scotch bonnet pepper and the rest of the seasonings afterwards. I just added my scotch bonnet pepper. The next two things that I'm gonna add to complete my soup are gonna be my dumplings. And if you guys want a tutorial on how I make my dumplings, leave a comment below and let me know. And I'll be more than happy to go ahead and do a tutorial on how I make not only my boiled dumplings, but my fried dumpling as well. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and add this to it. This is just basically something to help enhance the flavor of the soup. It also enhances the color, and it has like little noodles in it. They have different flavors. They have chicken, pumpkin, fish, vegetable. I just happen to like the chicken one. You can get this from not only any Caribbean market, but like Walmart. If you go into the ethnic aisle or the Hispanic aisle, whatever they call it, you can get it from there. So I'm gonna add 2 packs of this because this is a pretty big pot of soup. Alrighty, so at this point I've gone ahead and added my dumplings, as you can see them here. And these are gonna be considered spinners because you spin them in a little spear. And then I have my scotch bonnet still in here. Now I'm just gonna cover this and let this pretty much go for about another 10 minutes just so the dumplings can cook. You want to be careful of the scotch bonnet and make sure that it's always in sight, because what can happen is that if you stir the pot too much, you'll end up bursting that, and if it bursts open in your pot, it's gonna become really spicy, which some of you guys might like it spicy. I like my food with just a little bit of kick in it, not something that's gonna have my nose running. So yeah, this is pretty much it. So in about 10 minutes or so, we'll be completely done once the dumplings are okay guys, so we are officially done. Doesn't it just look so delicious? If you guys only knew what I was smelling right now, but your home can smell like this too. Now it is time to dish some out and enjoy the fruits of our labor.